Hello, everybody, and welcome to Adobe Live Australian edition. I'm here with Dale Bigeni. How are you, Dale?
I'm doing very well, Flynn. Thank you.
Thanks for waking up with us this morning.
Yeah.
How are you finding the morning routine, getting up and doing some live streams with us?
Look, there's been worse ways to up early, but feel confident.
Very good. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hey, Steve. Hey, me. That's me in the chat there. Jump on over to behance.net/live. Say hello. We're going to be here for 2 hours this morning, and we're going to be doing some illustration work with Dale Bigeni, which is awesome. Your second time on the show on this working from home version
Yeah.
of Adobe Live, but you've been on a bunch of times. We've been on a bunch of times together, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. And each time we learn something new, and hopefully today it won't be any different. And we can give some little hot tips out there for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I thought what we might do, it is Tuesday. It's the beginning of our week over here. We've actually got our whole schedule done for the week. Very exciting times. And so today it is Tuesday here in Australia. So Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning, we have photographic-based illustration with Dale Bigeni. That is us right now. We'll explain what that means in a moment. Well, Dale will, because he'll do a better job of it than I will. And then tomorrow we have idea development illustration with Jeremy Lord. On Thursday, we're having our very first sketch party over here with Bianca Beers. And then on Friday, we are going to be doing some editing in Lightroom with Ichiban Benjamin Lee, fantastic photographer, making his Adobe Live working from home debut this Friday, which is very exciting for all of us. So yeah, hey chat, hey Jennifer, hey chat, great to see you. Yes, Steve, it is the greatest hits of superstar designers for sure.
Solid lineup.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and yeah, lots of fun to be had this week. I think we're going to be chilling out, learning some stuff, creating some amazing artwork. Because certainly love that illustration. So we're going to see some cool colors and yeah, wonderful things. So maybe Dale, we might jump over to you for some of those who might not be as familiar with your work as the rest of us, and maybe you can give us an idea of what you do, and we'll bring up your some of your work at the same time.
Yeah,
So you've
cool.
got something to talk to.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, my name's Dale. I'm obviously Art by Dale on in the digital world. Um, I illustrate, I design, I create. I just like to be creative in general. So there's nothing I won't do. But here's a little selection of my Instagram that we can have a quick look at, and you can see just there. There's some mural painting. There's some digital art. Some sticker design, shirt design, but yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I won't go all the way through, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of things I enjoy doing. But as of recent, I've started these new layouts and a bit more integrated artworks rather than the slap happy t-shirt designs. For instance, I've got this. I worked on this cool little Frenchie 40th birthday gift for a friend of a friend.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just composing artworks using reference photography and, having a little bit of fun with some photos that I was allowed to use. These were given to me by the boys. So
Mm.
yeah, and I ended up printing this and getting it pretty under wraps in a very short time, which is well, it's unheard of, really. But we got it done and everyone was happy. And yeah, so I really enjoy bike culture, car culture, and things like that. So you'll see a heavy influence in that kind of realm. But
Mm.
yeah, this is the folio of skulls and lots of black. But today we're gonna continue the trend.
Nice
So
one.
yeah, that's it.
Cool, very good. Well, just before we get started, we'll just kind of explain how what we'll do. We'll be here for just a little bit under 2 hours, and usually what we do is at about halfway, we'll take a bit of a break and answer some of those big, long, like deep and meaningful kind of style questions, and also give Dale's a slight break, and before we jump in and kind of do a part two. But feel free to ask questions as we're going along. Anything to do with process. Skulls, if you've got skull questions, Dale's your man. Like,
Yeah, fire them over.
as we go through. And if you're watching this somewhere other than behance.net/live, jump over there. And it'd be lovely to hear from you and find out where you're all from. We're both in Sydney. Dale's in Sydney as well. Love to hear where you're from. I know Steve is from New Zealand, so hello, Steve. You think we're in the future, Ryan? Steve is even more in the future. So we get our news from him. But over to you, Dale.
So today I'm just gonna I just want to talk a little bit about, I don't know if it's one of those unspoken tricks of the trade or everybody's very aware of it, but I guess I want to explain that to be an illustrator, I guess above anything, you need to be creative and think creatively, but there's ways to assist you. There's drawing aids, and there always has been. So this isn't anything new, but I just want to show you a couple of tricks that I will do to compose a piece. So I want to talk about things like reference material.
Let me bring you up. I'm going to bring you up big.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So I've got like reference materials for a lot of poses and, of course, the skulls that I create. So this is a 3D printed skull that a friend of mine did for me, which is really cool. And it's very helpful to, get those poses and things like that. So I use sometimes reference material of my own, or I will purchase or download stuff. So I would just walk through that kind of world. So here's one I prepared earlier. I've already shot my little guy riding a Posca marker in this current time. So I basically will shoot this exactly how I want it to look, and just try to get the lighting as close to what I want. And to be honest, I totally disregarded the lighting for this one, but I've got all my little reference pieces that I want to use in this piece, so I've got them ready. I know exactly where I'm going with this. Stupid me. I'm putting this guy in a Wacom pen, so I don't know why I put him on this texter. I've got plenty around. So anyway, I'll get my photography in place and start like concepting off this photo. So I know the bones are already there, literally, but I'll just dial back everything and I will basically start sketching.
Cool. As you're sketching, Jennifer has a question. What's your favorite places to get inspiration?
Inspiration. I like, well, not at the moment, but I used to go to like car shows, bike shows. I like to just watch a lot of that genre as well, on if it's a documentary or a car build or something like that. Because that culture is quite important to my art. I like to be across what exactly it is in that art that makes that art. So yeah, it's just things that I'm interested in, like those shows, and I guess even things like Behance, like you can just type in car culture and I'll see a bunch of things in there. So I'll just Behance, Instagram, documentaries, things like that.
We have to do it all digitally at the moment, don't we?
Yeah, it's a bit sad actually. Oh, it's a lot sad. So anyway, I just already off to a cracker start, drawing on the wrong layer. But so I'm pre-preparing a lot of these layers because there is a little bit I want to get through. But so I'll go in there and I'll start sketching out this guy by just like tracing like his shape completely, and then I know like once I get the shape of this guy ready and he's in the right place, I know I want him to have like a little skull. So I draw like a real rough skull. And of course, he's a Grim Reaper. Like, there's no one's done any Reaper stuff, so we'll just chuck it in. I want him to have this cloak, but so in the same way that I would use my own reference photography, I do sometimes, especially things like cloaks and things like that, I'll reference things from places like Adobe stock. So I would go into Adobe. Can I? Am I allowed to show you that?
Yeah.
So I'll just bring this down here for a sec. So in Adobe Stock, you can search anything. Obviously, it's all paid for stuff, but I would just do like cloaks. And this is mainly, I guess, what I want to say is that these are only ever used for reference for me. I don't use these as like a form of finished art at all. So I can go through there, download what I need to. You can buy them, their license rules behind them. But I won't go into that side. There is a whole web page on there for you to read about that. So I might pull in a cloak and just use these reference photography to get shapes and style cues, I guess we'll call them. So that's how I would draw using the stock photography side of it. I would never use it as a form of finished art, I guess.
Right.
So I'm just going to quickly draw. He's going to be on this little graphic pen tablet.
You don't read comics. You don't read comics and stuff very much, do you? Because this looks a lot like Taskmaster. I don't know if you know him.
Taskmaster.
Yeah, Taskmaster. Yeah, I said
Taskmaster. No, is it too close? Should I be changing something?
No. He's your man. He's your man. He's like basically got a skull and a cape.
Look, I feel like I'll just have a read just for that exact reason.
I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll share it in chat. Why not? So, if I can bring up comics at some point, that's my game.
I reckon there will definitely be a comic reference. So I'll just go in and I'll rough in all this stuff, and then as I'm going through, I start deleting his bones because I don't need them anymore. I'd obviously do that at the end. Just sit him down on this thing. And I just keep drawing until basically I've got all the shapes and whatnot happening in the right places and stuff. And then, go through and just get rid of his legs and things like that, clean it up. So basically I'm trying to achieve an illustration worthy enough to send to the client for approval. Once I've got that, I can switch that off. I can see I'm starting to get like a shape, and it's probably not the greatest shape at the moment, but I get it to a point where it's probably somewhere in this kind of vicinity. So I've got the guy writing writing the pen. He's a bit of a witch style reaper, whatever you want to call it. Got his cape and stuff. And then once I've got this shape, I guess this rough shape all happening, it goes off for approval, comes back all good. Then I'll come in and I'll start refining that picture. So what I'll do, using my little reference skull, I'll bring him up into here. So he's here now, and I will just go put him in place. Know that and I don't think there's any there's harm in doing it this way. I think it's all about working smart and working fast. And I think it's still a creative process to know how to use a camera. I guess like we see on these streams, like photographers are like they're just as creative as anyone else, if not some of the most creative people with their eyes. So you got to know how to shoot these things so that they work for the piece. I think I shot that pretty well, considering I did it on a phone and just sent it over to my. I
was going to say, did you just take a photo on your phone and kind of cut it out?
Yeah,
or like
I just
object selection.
Yeah, no, I just deep etch it, and I don't even deep etch it. Like, do you want to see how great this deep etching is? It's not deep etched at all. It's being used with the lasso tool, and you can still see my thumb there, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna draw this. I'm gonna put all the detail in, and it's only a reference.
Yeah, but I guess that's like a really good point, like to make that, like you don't want to overdo it. Like you could have gone through and cut it out very fine and spent like the extra like 5 minutes or something like that. But
exactly,
you're only using this reference, so there's no point.
It probably and I know that a lot of tattooists do. They use photography composition a lot in their tattoos, and they have to go in and be a bit more delicate with the deep etching because they're trying to create an artwork from these. But
Yeah.
as an illustrator, I think I've got a little bit of flex, so I just need to know that the angles and shapes are okay, and it really depends. Usually, I would just draw this freehand because well, I've done them so many times, but I want to show that it doesn't matter if you can't draw a skull. There's a way to to assist yourself so that take all the stress and you can enjoy the piece a little bit more. Because let's be honest, the whole part of drawing and creating is about having fun. If you got to sit there and be hard on yourself because you can't draw a skull or something that's not working, then your piece is now not as fun as it should be.
Yeah, totally. That's good advice. I like that a lot.
So there, and there you go. Like I've got a little skull. Again, I only need it to be rough because again, yeah, I've done them before, but I only need to know where eyes, nose, mouth, and all that sit, and then I'll just start dropping in all that little bits of detail and stuff, and then I should explain that while I'm doing that, I'm doing it in a bit more refined state anyway. So I've got him coming in a little bit more like, oh, sorry, my tablet is.
It's all good. Sorry to hear about the issues in in chat with Wacom. Some people are having some issues with their lines. Every time I look down, I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to suggest this, and Steve's all over it, or Jan is already all over it. So yeah, I'm out of answers for that one.
Oh, is someone there? I've got a Wacom tech.
Yeah, just some. Yeah, so it was pen sensitivity is grayed out in Illustrator, but not Photoshop.
Is that right? Who said that? I beg to differ.
Ryan, I think it's bugging. I think it's bugging somehow.
Oh, you know what? Today I think mine is, and it could be. I don't know what it is.
Not yours. Theirs.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, then it's all you, not me. Totally. All right. So I'll go in and I'll sketch out this guy, get him into a more refined state, and as you can see, he's definitely taken the reins on this one. He's taken hold of that Wacom pen. He's becoming a little bit more like solid. You can see his shapes are all in there a bit better. And I'll just draw this in basically with a 50-50, so 50% opacity, 50% flow. And then I just at least it keeps it still a little bit loose, and you can still get in there and add all those. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, sorry, I was playing with the brushes. That's all my fault. So there you go, and I just go in and drop all these. Oh, obviously, I need my reference to be there.
Are you just using the standard round brush at like 50% or something?
Yeah, this is all just standard brushes. It's funny. I've been watching a few of those lives, and it's funny that everyone just uses the same brushes. It's almost like, is there any other brushes? This one's the king of all brushes, the hard round pressure brush.
Yep.
just saying.
It's a greatest hit, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is.
To go back to it, or it just seems to be in everyone's rotation.
So yeah, I draw that guy in, get it all into where I want it. I guess the beauty of using the photography in the piece is you get everything pretty much close to perfect in terms of conceptual like layout, but then you've got a good foundation to start doing whatever you want. So for instance, this one, I know the little guy, the actual model has like little shoes on, but if you don't want the shoes or you want them to be like, low cut, high cut, you can do whatever you want at this point because of the freedom of knowing exactly where that sits. And again, going back to just being able to create the piece kind of carefree and a bit more like have fun with it. You can start adding, I added that little chain in. I can add in some of the speed lines. I can add creases wherever I want. There's no rules once you've got your foundation super solid. So I think photography is a big key in that.
Yeah.
I think people just need to remember to just be mindful that photographers do that for a living as well. So if it's got to be paid for, try to pay for it. But there are resources and ways of doing it. Like I said, I printed a 3D skull and I bought this little model, and it's there's not been a time where I've needed to pose off the internet because I can just do it myself.
Yeah.
Be a drawer and do it from scratch, but sometimes time is key.
All times, time is key.
I draw it all in. Oh yeah, for everything in life. Just let's face it. All right, so I'll draw it until it gets to a finished state, and I've got this little guy kind of good to go. And so that basically is built entirely off three or four different photos, but I've got a full finished piece here, or sorry, full finished concept here, and you wouldn't know where that came from if I didn't tell you. I think that's why a lot of people don't want to go into this sort of stuff, because it maybe kills some of the magic. But I think it's pretty obvious that when someone's using a photo versus when they're using full freehand. So no hate to any of the methods. I think I just do whatever works for me at the time. I'm not too concerned about what anyone thinks anymore. So if it looks good and people enjoy looking at it, then that's all that matters, really.
Yeah. Nice one. I think also, like, with the reference, like I think like your point before about how you can still change it based, like, even though it's a photographic reference. So like maybe some people might think, well, I don't want to just kind of draw something that it physically exists. I want to be creative. But sort of you were saying that you can start like that with a base, which gives you a really good foundation to what it would look like, and then you can be creative on top of that, which is really cool.
I think what it does in turn is the more you use these references and the more comfortable you get with drawing, those shapes and stuff, you're going to start learning that, like, okay, a skull kind of like has these shapes in it. So I'll just start flexing it on my own. There's an eye here, there's an eye here. And, you start actually teaching yourself to draw that shape and that I guess, that element over and over again, but because you've traced it or you've copied it from a reference, it gives you a little bit more, a bit more confidence in drawing it.
Yeah.
So it's not a crime. All right. So I've got my little guy. He's cruising, and now I just want to talk through like how I go about with kind of using. Like I said, I'd usually have lit this picture below, and I would usually light it so that I'm aware of where the light's hitting and stuff. But again, after doing it for a while, you kind of start to learn the concept. So I'll just draw in some light direction just so I know where it's all going to be coming from, and then I'll just go through again. I just might put this down to like 20% on both. The opacity. Oh, hello. Oh yeah, look, I did it to 20.
Moses was asking which resolution is the image?
The actual artboard is 600 DPI usually, and that's purely because bigger's better. We all know that, and also I sometimes will do all my ink work and decide that maybe I can finish this in Illustrator, and I'll do a live trace of my illustration. But usually I would pre-plan that and just go straight into Illustrator. So this is just like a bit of a safety net kind of thing, having a high res.
Yeah.
So so I know I've got the light coming in from this side, so I'll just start going in and basically like filling, doing some like shadow. I don't know, there's going to be a lot of just trying to get some dimension to it. So just go in here. And being really not too careful. It doesn't matter if it goes out the lines. Just getting all these shadows in.
Cool. While you're doing that, chat, feel free to ask questions as we're going along. If you've got questions for Dale,
Yeah, definitely.
that's what we're here for. What Wacom are you using?
At the moment, I'm using the Cintiq 13-inch. Usually the 24-inch in the studio. It's a bit more. It's a bit more special, that one.
Just for special occasions.
Yeah. All right. So I draw all my shadows in. And then this just lets me go to the next round of art with a bit more confidence again. And like I said, usually you can minimize the thought process in this as well by lighting your reference photo to kind of get to this point, so you know exactly where it's all hitting. But I mean, there's no harm in just dropping shadow where you think looks nice as well if it needs a little bit more depth and stuff. So yeah, we get to that kind of thing, and obviously that's what it ends up kind of looking like. I get to this point and I start using some negative lines to just get some of those creases back, and some speed lines just to give him some movement in the piece. And yeah, that's kind of the concept phase built using photography as the resource. And again, proving that with those couple of resources, you can make a whole piece and feel completely confident that it's yours at the end, regardless of if you've used this model or you've traced that pen. At least you know it's accurate, and you feel good as an artist. You feel like you've accomplished that piece you really want.
Yeah.
But just like the way we've done this with image resource, I also will use the color site for Adobe to get colors and add them to my library. Sometimes I just creative block. You don't know what colors you're feeling. You can go into oh, sorry, I've got this on the other screen. I just bring it down. So you can come into color.adobe, and you can do like full color searches in here, like to get some. Sorry, I don't know if that's going too fast. I was trying to go slow.
No, that's all good.
So you can come in here and you can either create a color swatch library, or you can explore via just some words. You can go into trends and whatnot and just have a look what's trending in fashion. Not that that's relative to me, but anyway, you can go through. You can explore by word. Let's just pick any colors for now and just there. That's cool. So I can go in here, and
what I was looking at as well.
It's a nice colorway, isn't it? So it gives you a breakdown of each of those colors, or you can add to your library, or download it as a swatch exchange file and load it to your favorite app. But I'll just hit add to library. Hopefully it doesn't freeze everything. Yep, and it's going straight into my library. So now I can come in here into El Reaper, and I'll just go in and let's just make another folder here. Oh, you can already see it's already loaded up over here.
Yeah.
So it's brought it in instantly. Half the work of thinking of colors is out of my mind now, so I've already set to go. Just do a new solid.
And that's good. You were talking before about like if you ended up going into Illustrator, is something that will occasionally happen. The good thing about that is that will also be in Illustrator. It's just
exactly so that yeah, so you're not dragging extra elements or files over. It's all going to be contained in this one library. So I can just go in, I'll drop a color background, and I might just want, I think I'm going to do it red. Oh, where's my thing going? Sorry. Okay. I can't press OK. Where's my OK?
Hmm.
I think I picked it. I don't know where my it must be going onto my other screen. So let's just let's just do it like this. Sorry, so if I double click the color, it will apply it to my board. So I'm just not even, there's no tool being used here. I'm just double clicking the actual swatches up here in my library. Well, let's just run with this. I like this. It's a bit slow, sorry. So on go to per, just gonna grab this folder, multiply. I can hide this one. I can just start drawing, refining this. So I'll just go through it and show you how I would generally create one of those new pieces I was talking about, like the Frenchie and things like that.
Yeah.
So obviously you can see hard round pressure size again. Turn the flow and opacity back up and switch the smoothing. I don't want it to be too smooth because it sometimes slows the flow down a little bit. Not the flow, like the line drawing actually slows down.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it a little bit lower. But let's just on the most important part.
Yeah, cool.
Just gonna
Got a
scale it
question
down.
as well,
Mm-hmm.
if it's an
Yeah.
okay time to ask. But
Yeah.
Steve was asking if you're familiar with Killface from Frisky Dingo animated show.
Oh wow, that's I'm just gonna say no, but it sounds super exciting.
Yeah, I don't know that one
I'm
either,
not.
Steve.
Yeah, feel free to share it with us. Sorry, I just want to change this color again. Okay, so I'm using two screens, and I can't see where my color thing's going. Don't worry about it.
It's the wonderful world of streaming. It's like on a monitor somewhere in your house.
Yeah, it's probably downstairs on the TV or something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so obviously that's not smooth enough, and you can already see. Well, I take it everyone knows about the smoothing. Smoothing just helps that not happen. This rigid line thing that's going on, but I'll turn it up a little bit. Okay, that's better. All right, and I'll just go through, and I'm gonna try to do this whole thing while we're live because I didn't pre-prepare the final layer. So
Cool. Let's do it.
challenge is on.
Challenge
I
is
reckon I
on.
can do it.
You can do it.
This is one of my favorite styles to do at the moment, just because I don't get asked to do it a lot, but when I do it, it gets a really good response from especially clients when I can submit some new styles to them.
Mm.
So and it's just a nice like way to use the colors and things like that.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm just going through, and half the work's done for me because I spent some time going in and doing all those shadows and the tonal values in there.
Mm.
I mean, there's only two in this style, but it's effective.
So Steve was saying, yeah, it's an older Adult Swim animated show, a la Archer. Also, like kind of like Archer, like animated in
Oh,
that
okay,
style.
yeah.
2 seasons only. Killface is a skull-faced space alien who comes to Earth to kill everything, but he has issues. That sounds so much like Adult Swim.
Did he say he has issues?
He has issues, yeah, and trails off.
I mean, he's a guy that lives with a skull for a face. We know he's got issues.
That's true. That's true. Man, I love that Adult Swim. Was it Harvey Birdman? That was the funny stuff, man.
It's some pretty tripped out stuff. Hey, I don't understand how. Well, I mean, I do understand why it was so popular, but I don't see much of it anymore. I think
No,
Netflix it's ruined my life.
I think there's a new Rick and Morty out tomorrow or in the next couple of days for anyone that's interested in that as well. I just happened to stumble
That's
across it.
quite Adult Swim like, isn't it?
I feel like, yeah, it's like the next like level from there, like the next evolution along. I'm quite a fan, so I'm pretty keen.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan. I've been watching the older ones just because it puts me to sleep a little bit as well.
Like
Wind
watching something
down.
you've seen a bunch of times, like you never
Yeah,
tune out.
I'm not missing out. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, so I'm just oops, almost. I don't know. It's got a little thing. I think it's frozen.
We're getting
Are we
little drops
back?
from you occasionally. Yeah, we're just getting little drops from you
Yeah.
occasionally, and then it comes back fine
Uh,
every couple of minutes. But I think it's all good.
Apologies, guys.
That's just streaming in Australia. Killface doesn't know he needs money to do things, so all he can afford is printing up a few flyers at Kinko's to get his evil message out. It's like letterboxing. That's amazing.
It definitely sounds like something I'd be into. So thanks for the hot tip.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to try to speed it up a bit. Maybe at this point, people have lost faith and they don't think I can get this done in time, but I feel confident in myself.
I have nothing but confidence in you, my friend.
Oh, God. I was trying to be really positive. But yeah, I'm going to color this quite rough, but I just want to show you what I'm trying to achieve here because I drew the whole outline, but I'm not actually using all of the outline. I'm only going to use shadows and parts of, well, I guess the lit side.
Yep,
Lit.
that is lit. Plus, he has a
Yes.
punk-ass teenage son who disses him all the time. Yeah, this is right up my alley.
Is that Steve? Is that his name? Did Steve
Yeah.
write this? Is this his cartoon?
Yeah, his picture.
He knows a lot about it. He's a true fan.
Yeah.
I get lost in the details there. It's just got to entertain me for that, half hour before I fall asleep.
True. Yeah.
So you can see I'm kind of only focusing on the left hand side here, just trying to get all those big bold, I guess, bits of shading in.
Mm.
Just gonna go some primitive. And I know I can use a fill. I am fully aware. If anyone's thinking why aren't I using the fill, I really want to retain something about drawing on paper, and this is the closest thing to, and well, I don't think I ever used the fill tool when I was drawing on paper, so I like to just have this little bit of natural coloring feel to my pieces.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm gonna go through some parts. I need the outline, otherwise it might not make sense. Oh, I just had a moment of, was I drawing on the right layer? I mean,
That happens a lot.
I had to do a quick double take.
That happens a lot.
And then if I need to create extra outline and stuff, I'll cut back. I don't want to draw on this layer. I want it to only be that singular color. So all these parts where I need his body to separate.
So you're just coming back in with the eraser at 100%?
Yeah, and that's just at 100, and it's using the hard round pressure size again. So it's the same brush as the paintbrush, but I've just got it on the eraser.
I'd love to get like statistics on like just Adobe Live, like what is the most used tool?
Frequently used tools, yeah. It's got to be
Stats.
right up there, yeah.
And like a little alarm bell that goes off when anyone mentions Carl T. Webster's brush packs, like for sure. Comes up
Now
all the time.
they feel like they're just the standard brushes. Like when someone says, "Do you download them?" I'm like, "Oh, I just they're all
Just there
standard."
now.
But then I realize it's Kyle's name's in front of it, so
Yeah.
we all know he does a great job. So we'll just so sorry, I'm trying to focus on the drawing
Yeah,
and
you do that. You do that. If you're just joining us now, here with Bigeni, we're here for bit over an hour still, maybe an hour and a half. I think actually we've got quite a bit of time to hang out. And in about 12 minutes or so, no pressure, Dale. We'll take a bit of a Q&A break. It's okay if we go over. The timer is just for us. It's a little bit like the school bell. Remember the school bell would go off in class and everyone would like get up and try to run out of the room really quick, and the teacher would be like, "No,
teachers.
the bell's
Yeah.
for me, not for you," and force you to
Oh,
sit there for
wow.
5 minutes. Do you ever get that? No, just me.
No, I probably got it, but I was probably too busy walking out still.
I was going to
See
say
ya.
I went to public school, so yeah, we were not paying attention.
All right. Well, in 12 minutes, I'll enjoy the break then.
Exactly. So that's a great time for questions as well, guys. So if you do have questions, join us over in the chat. If you're watching this somewhere else, where our live chat is over at behance.net/live. Come over, say hello, ask your questions, ask about skulls. We've got all the skull questions.
Such a crazy little thing that I had to niche myself into.
Could have been anything. Could have been keycaps.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because like for the longest time, I couldn't draw a skull. Like I used to, well, not in my working life, but I used to pay or not pay. I used to ask friends to draw them, and then I'd redraw them on the computer, and it was weird because I just couldn't do it. I couldn't make them look right, and yeah, I just thought if I just paid someone or got someone else to do it, it would be okay. But now, after doing them for so long, I kind of have no choice. Hey, like I had to learn, and here we are, 15 years later, still going.
There must be artists out there that have done the same thing with hands or feet because they're so hard to draw that they're like, all right, I've nailed this. Now everyone's going to see my hands. I'm going to draw hands all day, every day. This was really hard to master.
Well, while I just try to draw this hand and you say that, like, I'm just going to...
Am I throwing you today?
Yeah, I was like, oh, thanks. Hands are, what did my dad used to say? If you can hide them, hide them.
Right.
Like he just thinks like if you can't draw them, don't force yourself to get it right. Just hide them. just put flames or smoke around it. No one will see. What a teacher.
Most important thing at the moment is to wash them. Everybody.
Yes.
You've got to wash those hands.
Oh, is that still going? That thing, eh? Yeah. Still around. God damn.
Still happening. Was your dad an artist or an illustrator or something?
Yeah, so my dad, well, he was probably the reason I draw now. Like we grew up with him drawing in the house all the time. Even just the other night when we were giving our privileges back, I went and saw him, and he was just flicking through just folders and folders of artworks. I'm like, Dad, you have so many like just loose sheets of paper. He's like, he's old school, he doesn't put it on a computer. So but yeah, his number one genre was like horror and cars, so it's no surprise that I ended up here kind of thing. So yeah, he's really talented, really good drawer. Used to airbrush and yeah, it's a family of artists. Well, not mum. Sorry mum. She just works for the bank. All right, so yes, I can see all these little parts that I missed, but this is my own challenge. Yeah, so you can see I haven't gone onto that other side where the lights hit because I want to use something else to try to just highlight it, but I want this to be kind of like a negative space illustration rather than a full outlined illustration. If that makes any sense. All right, and let's just have a look at him, how he's looking. He looks pretty cool. And if I turn that layer off, you can see what's happening.
Nice. It's like, it looks like a screen print at the moment.
Yeah, and I kind of like that you can still get your forms and you can feel the shape and the dimension in the piece, and I don't even have to finish that entire side. Like it can be, I guess, again, going back to the photo helps to get that, to make you know that you're in a good part. How you creatively finish it is now it's even further away from my little, I don't even know what he's called, little guy, the little model, and it's my own piece now. Like it's got no relation to that unless I turn on that layer and show everyone again. So yeah, it's nice to see it progressively get to a point where you can pick and choose styles that differentiate your piece from being, oh, he just traced that skull, to, oh, I love what he does with his illustrations. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool to have, do stuff like this to test new things and not have to worry about, but the angles are wrong. This is because people are hard on themselves at the best of times. But with art, you really, like, I punish myself sometimes if things aren't true to the way a hand looks or true to the way a skull looks. And again, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about having fun. And this is a fun way to create art because it's going to look like a skull because you've used the reference. So yeah, this is but I'll keep going. I'm going to try to stick to my plan here. I'm going to get through this so then we can add the other details in.
Nice.
How are we going for time? 6 minutes? Is that 6 minutes?
6 minutes, that's right. It's cool.
But yeah, jump in and ask questions. I will answer them. I'm in the zone. Look at this.
I got a question just about work, like ISO at the moment, like, because I know that you do work, like you've got your own work, but you also do like design work for like some of the agencies around, like some of those leading agencies around. So how are you going with that? Are you doing any work for them at the moment? Are you focusing completely on your art? Like what's the balance for you?
No, so I'm working with an agency at the moment still, and just like helping out on a few little projects, and it's cool because I like the interaction with the team, and it's a really good team, and it keeps me sane, and it also just like it obviously helps them out, but I definitely don't think they're struggling at the moment. So yeah, it's nice to be a part of something that's kind of like doing good work for the right reasons at the moment, actually, and then I still get to do this stuff on the side, which is great.
Yeah, it's good balance and bit more social, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely, and we need it right now. Like we said earlier, like our minds need that social interaction.
Yeah, definitely.
The world's greatest chain ever, I'm sure. Another hand, just to really test me. But yeah, I definitely think I'm keeping myself busy enough that I sometimes forget that I should read the news.
Yeah, it's a good time to ignore the news at the moment as well.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on, is there? Well, nothing too positive.
Yeah.
All right, so, oh, hang on, no, I don't want to say it. So yeah, again, I'll go in now and just like cut back on those pieces I need to be defined. Oh, and side note, if you are looking for any references for skulls in particular. I have a bunch of free skulls that you can find on my Behance. I just dropped 4 little free vector skulls, full editable, and you can use them in the same way I use the photo of my skull.
Oh,
They're
cool.
I really don't care what you do with them. I'm happy to give those away. They're not great skulls, but they're definitely free and available for everybody to enjoy.
Oh, nice. I'll find the link to that and throw it in chat as
Yeah.
well.
All right. So now I have an almost complete guy here. Just drop some speed lines.
I just gave you an appreciation, so
Oh, nice. Expect to see some Flynn Tracy skull work coming out.
that's right.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nice of you. Thanks a lot for that. That's super cool. So I just dropped the link to that. There's free skulls in chat. So it's nice to give that away.
Yeah, look, everybody's entitled to a bit of help, and that's my little piece of giving back. Just looking at parts that don't make a lot of sense here. All right, I reckon this guy's in a good place. I mean, some will say he's not. Okay, so I've got this little skull rider, whatever he is. So I keep pressing. So yeah, now I've got this little guy, and he's kind of where I envisioned he would look. But also, I feel like I want to add some more dimension to him without adding a lot. So what I usually do is use that same lighting cue that I had, which is coming from over on this right-hand side. And I might just do like either we'll just run with white for now, but maybe just a lighter tone of purple would do. Oops, sorry.
Cool. I thought of a name for him.
Okay, go.
Yeah, because he's reminding me of Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah.
But he's on a pen, so he's Ghost Writer.
Oh, I didn't hear that, and when I put it on my portfolio, I claim all rights to that name.
Hey man, you gave me skulls. I'll give you my ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ones, so I'm quite proud of that actually.
Actually, it's quite clever, Flynn, at this time of the morning.
That's it. I'm done for the day. Off I go.
Yeah, see ya. I think I'm running out of time, man. Oh, look at that! Just on the clock, Q&A.
Just on the clock.
All right, I'll just finish this line. And that line. All right, and you can see what I'm trying to do here is use some of those little white lines to just kind of not finish the lines, but give us a little bit more of that shape back.
Yeah.
So it's just using those highlights, and obviously you can go as many as you want or as less as you want. It doesn't really matter as long as it's giving you that shape. But I'll leave that for now because the clock says so.
The clock told us. I've got a question I've always wanted to ask you to kick things off. Let's jump in. Let's see Big Dale. About the work smart, hustle hard.
Yep.
Because I've seen that a lot, like in your work and seen it around, but I've never really asked you like where that comes from. Like I get the pretense, I get like it's time to work, time to hustle, but like where's that come from as like a mantra that you like put out in the world?
I don't really know where it ever. I think I kind of just always thought like everyone thinks like work hard, work smart kind of thing. Like I think it's like you can. I don't know if it was ever something that I wanted to be like a mantra, or it was just something I believed in that much that like working smart was so important to me that like when I did that first design or like years ago, and it said it, and people were like, "Oh, that's so good," and I was like, "What? Like, is it new? Like, it doesn't sound very new. Like, work smart, hustle hard." And
Mm.
I think at that time that I was well hustling the hardest that I had for what I had to at that point. I think it was just like it seemed appropriate, and it was getting a lot of like people like being able to relate in every industry. It
Yeah.
didn't matter where you were working, and but for me it is like working smart is it was all about like upgrading like my tech or upgrading things to get away from a slow design process to speed everything up. As a dad, I was time poor, so
Mm.
it was all about like how can I spend more time with the kids, but how can I give 100% to all my clients or just people in general. So yeah, it was weird how it came about, but it's kind of just, and now it's cool. Like I feel like when I hear it and or I see anyone say it, it's like that's my thing. You can't do that, but it's definitely not copywritten. So jokes on me.
Oh, that's awesome. So like that's interesting what you said like about kind of spending family time and everything. And do you have any tips for like changing gears? Because you have quite a few things, not too dissimilar to myself actually. Like you've got family time, you've got design work, like working with agencies sort of thing, and then you've
Yeah.
got illustration, and then presumably you've got your own like art, art for yourself as well. Like how do you like, because those are like four different lives essentially. Like
Yeah.
how do you try to, do you have any tips for like how you kind of try to separate the two, or do they all blur together quite a
Um,
lot?
at the moment, it's a bit of a blur, but this is unusual circumstances. Like it's never been like
Sure.
this at all. So it's hard to the right now answer is it is a blur. I had to do a checklist last night while I was on the lounge, and I was like, oh my god, I give myself headaches thinking of how I'm supposed to balance everything, but
Yeah.
somehow you do it and you get on and you do it with a smile and you just try to make I just make the most of what you've got while you've got it. So, but usually I've got a pretty strict like regime. Like I would put them all in time frames, and I try to stick to those time frames. It is hard, but I have a calendar and I book myself in for hours worth of work on a project. So
Mm.
I think just that is probably the best way. And I think understanding that not, I guess, money's not everything. So if you think that you need to put your work before your family, I think you're crazy. I think people that ruin relationships based on work careers are fools. Feel free to argue. I don't care. I just think you've only got one chance at being like a dad or a husband or whatever it is, and you don't want to have to do it again because you failed. And I think artworks and clients come and go. Like it's not as important as the family. So I do try to dedicate at least the weekends completely to family, and that keeps that part of my brain sane. But the rest of the time it's just working smart, hustling hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We were talking about Netflix before. What are you doing to stay sane? Like, do you have like a close friend group? Are you doing like quiz trivia at, on a Friday night or something like that, or anything like that?
Flynn, I'm the actual worst. I see there's trivia's happening, and I kind of like, "Ugh, what are they doing? Like, it's what a waste of time." But it's also because I'm pretty busy, so I haven't had a chance. But my downtime, I usually just if I have it, I've just been playing Xbox for the first time in so long, and it's
Wow.
so good because it's so mind numbing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not very good at it, but I also don't really care. I have fun doing it.
Yeah. Another question that I had like around kind of like illustration industry, because we're all kind of looking at like everything that's going on at the moment, and then there's what's happening now, which is like this kind of frozen kind of weird state that is all very
Yeah.
strange, and then there's what's going to happen next. And like I'm curious as to what you think like that might happen around the creative industry or the illustration industry. You could answer that either way that you want to go.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I am staying really optimistic. I said it last week or whenever it was that I was on. That it hasn't changed much for me in terms of workload. So I've been grateful to just keep the wheels have just kept moving. We've had some hits around the house where hours or pay or whatever have been affected, but I definitely think as an artist and looking forward to the future, I definitely am looking forward to it, because I think it's now given people a new way to think of business and what they can do for their business. And I think with everyone now dedicating most of their time to online presence, the only way to stand out in an online presence is to look good. And the only people that can do that are designers, photographers, and illustrators. So for us, I think business is going to be great. And that's my opinion. I think the creative sector, if you want to call it that, is going to be as big as big as it always was, if not bigger. I think a lot of people have now had time to educate themselves on programs and online businesses and things like that. So there'll be an influx of new artists, I think, you might find. And you know what? I have no problem with that. I think you still for that artist, they'll still come to a Dale piece and they'll go to you for a Flynn Tracy piece. Even if I gave you this artwork as a free artwork, they're always going to know where its roots lie, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty optimistic that it's going to be a good outcome especially for us as illustrators.
Yeah. Cool. So another question was, you're quite busy, so you'll have to hypothetically do this one. But for those whose work maybe has slowed down for the moment or might slow down like during this time, like what would you do if there wasn't a lot of work kind of coming through at the moment? Like what advice would you give to someone to, like, what should they be working on, do you think?
Yeah, I think my advice would be, well, firstly, I would definitely not be hard on yourself. I don't think anyone can put blame on themselves or their art at this point. It's just a weird time. I would stay definitely positive about the art you're creating, and I'd just put as much art out there as I can, whether it be on your folio on Behance or something, or just join chat groups and there's pages on Facebook, I think, like a signwriters group where it's all signwriters and everyone's in the same boat, so you can kind of put your mind at ease by knowing that you're not alone. You're not the only one missing out on work, but there's a chance in that group or chatting to more people that you get some more work out of it. So I think it's about just staying active. Don't just sit there and go, oh, life's just like knocked me around and I'm not getting any work. Like, it's up to you, I guess. You've really got to put yourself out there at this point. And I think all I'd do is just put as much art out as possible, just once daily, twice daily, and just, I hope, I hope there's not a lot of people that it is affecting like really bad, where they've just had to give up drawing and go work at, a supermarket or something, because that would suck. Like, it's, you've got a lot of passion here. So I'm just hoping that if you put a lot of art out there, the right people will see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's good. That's good advice. Once everything's kind of like back to normal, using air quotes, what's the first thing you're going to do? Last question.
Oh man, like, just go on a holiday. I just want Australia to open back up. Like, there's a lot of places like we can go here and enjoy it, and I just want to have some time where it feels normal and there's no work involved, if you know what I mean. I just want to sit by the pool and relax a little bit. Like, if it has to be in Australia, then so be it. But I'm looking forward to just that little bit of normality and being able to drive to a place we don't know and enjoy it a little bit. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's about it.
I like it. Would you want to jump into part 2?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's jump back up.
All right, let me gear up again. Put me the old awkward glove.
What is that? Let's have a quick look.
It's called it's called a smudge guard.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically to well, I don't know the actual technical reason for it, but I think my hand tends to stick to the screen a little bit while I'm drawing without it. So this just allows me to keep my hand moving at a steady kind of flow without having any jolts or anything.
Yeah.
And I think it just stops that friction, or if you've got any like sweat under your hand, because these devices can warm up.
Mm.
So yeah, just keeps my workflow flowing.
Yeah, I like it. Keep the flow flowing. It's just
That's
always
it.
a good thing.
All right, so we're just gonna go in, and I'm gonna keep doing this little guy. So I'm just gonna go through and not do that. Okay.
So maybe for those
Okay. I'm
who,
just
what are you doing at the moment? Is this like light? Are you trying to show like light coming through?
Yeah. So this is it's just like the highlight that my designated lighting direction is going to be putting on the skeleton. So remember, our light is coming in from over here. So I've got that light just touching him a little bit, just touching him.
Oh,
It's just to give it again. I like it to fit. Otherwise, it gets a little bit. I don't know. It looks a little bit flat. So I've been just trying my hardest to kind of experiment with like different ways of showing dimension, opposed to all my older methods, which were like just heaps of black line shading and things like that. You can go through the Instagram and check it out. I won't bore you with the details, but
so is that like a bit of an evolution of the way that you've been illustrating, or is it just a different, like, is this a vacation from the heavy black line work, or?
you know what? I kind of think, and I don't know how many people this will offend or put off the way I do art, but I feel like I got bored of doing the same thing over and over again. And
Sure.
as much as it's great to own a style, I really like to try new things, and I'm
Yeah.
always really gracious when a client will let me go in and do something new, and they really enjoy it. So I'm trying to not put myself in a little like a niche pocket of just that one style. So yeah, I think it's definitely an evolution, because doing stuff like this is miles away from where it all started. So, and it's
Mm.
almost like doing I'm working backwards. Like I did really complex, and now I'm trying to create art like using negative space and like minimal colors, which I never
Yeah.
would have thought of back in the day. So yeah, we'll call it evolution, but it's also just I just like having a lot of different things on there, a lot of different styles that I can lean on.
Yeah.
It's hard because I get a bit nervous about putting out certain art, because I used to be really concerned about, well, the response it would get, and I've just realized that it's really not that important. It's just got to be stuff that I enjoy doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and so we've got our little Reaper. All
There's a
right.
comment in chat saying, "Thanks for doing this style in digital. I now know what I was doing wrong. I used to use pen and ink to do this type of work." Oh, that's cool.
Oh, look, I definitely think you weren't doing it wrong. I think this is just another way to consider it, but I'm glad to help.
It's
All
very
right.
cool.
So,
Just because we're done with our Q&A, that doesn't mean that you can't ask questions as we go along. So feel free to throw them in.
so I'm just again adding. It's still a quite rough piece, but it's developing here. All right. So now I like to add in that same dark purple, but I'll put it on another layer. Let's just not really an outline, but we'll call it outline. I don't know if you can see that. Um, so what I'll do on another layer of that purple, I put these little. I like doing these half tones to give well, to use them as that my mid-tone shading, I guess.
Hmm.
But again, nothing fancy. But in the brushes, there's the old special effects brushes, and I just realized they're all Kyle's, so they're
There we
just
go.
down here. We've got these little halftone screens,
Mm.
um, and they're really cool because they're obviously prefabricated. You don't have to use you know, a lot of brain power to use them. You just got to get into them and have some fun. But obviously, one's tighter than the other. So that one versus this one, you can see the difference. I always like to use the more open one because obviously with screen printing, some screen printers in the past I've used halftones and they've bled into each other because they were too tight.
Right.
So and you can go in here and up the scale of these brushes. If you go into the brushes, you can play around with the scale, but
Yeah. But when you have
you
a
can see
brush
you can
set,
open them
they're
up.
already
Sorry,
oh,
enlarge that. So
went robotic for a sec.
they're already
That's all
pretty
good.
good to go. Yeah, so I try not to play around with the size too much.
Mm. Tyson
Yeah.
was asking, can you take this into Illustrator and make it a vector? We were talking about that a little bit before.
Yes. Maybe I'll just. I don't know how this is going to affect jumping over to Illustrator right now. I don't want to. Do you reckon I can start it up? Is that all right?
Yep, give it a go. It's
Let's
always
see what
interesting
happens.
what works when you're streaming. Like, you can open some tiny
Oh,
application and everything goes a bit funny, but I think we'll be okay. We should be fine. Um,
well, word of warning. I'm sorry if it delays or goes crazy.
it'll just drop for a second, pop back in. I think so. We should be fine.
Oh no, look, all good. Now, all right. So I guess yes. In short, the answer is yes. You can. Oops. But I'm just going to show you something. All right. So Illustrator has opened safely. I've lost my. I cannot see the screen anymore. Great. All right. So if I was to take this into Illustrator, I would I would just get rid of all the white, obviously, and I would convert this to be safe. I would make a black layer. All right, so I've got a black layer, and I'll just call this vector. So I just want it to be a flat layer. So this was off the cuff. I wasn't ready for it. I'm sorry. All right, so I'm gonna jump into Illustrator, and then I'll open. I know last time I said when I bring things in Illustrator, I put them on a template, but this time we don't want it as a template. I want to open the PSD layered.
Hmm.
So convert layers to objects. Keep that ticked. So now you can see I got background and I've got him. Oh, and I've even got purple
Oh,
just to mix it up.
nice.
So let's just take off these guys. So I've got that guy, and he's been well. It was drawn in a pretty good resolution. So if I just go into image trace,
Is that going to take a while?
you
Oh no,
it shouldn't.
pretty quick.
So you can see it didn't lose that much detail. Obviously, there's some like I saw his teeth. Something happened in his teeth and his hands and stuff. But you can click on. Oh, where is that going? I'm clicking on things, but I think oh, here you go. All right, so you can go into the image trace options before you expand it, and you can play around with the threshold, and you
Mm.
can see when I play with this, it changes the level of detail that happens on your artwork. So obviously, the more I think you get to a point and it blacks out, it just goes completely black.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we can bring this threshold down, and you just play around with it till it's at a point where you want. And more times than none, I can actually get it pretty close, because if you do it at a high enough resolution, obviously Illustrator doesn't have such a hard time.
Yeah.
Um, what's the word? Converting it.
Mm.
So you can get it pretty close. Obviously, this I'm not doing a great job because I'm trying to just show you that you can play with these settings. And then when you hit expand, I make sure I ignore whites on expand, and now I've got that piece good to go as a vector, and you can just pick your purple again, whatever it was.
Nice.
This color thing every time. Yeah. So it is very easy. I think just like make sure that you're ready to do that sort of thing.
Mm.
Things into Illustrator. Keep in mind that the more detail, less hold. I start getting too crazy at a low resolution, there's a chance you'll lose a lot of stuff. And you can play around with all those settings so this stuff doesn't happen. You can see it just put this big bold line here.
Yeah.
It's got no relevance to anything. So yeah, in the short answer is yes, you can. The long answer is you need to do some playing around in your image trace settings to retain the artwork's overall look.
Mm.
But we
Cool.
won't. Yeah.
And creating originally in Photoshop in a high resolution like 600, just in case anyone missed that, helps that out, because there's twice the amount of information if you're doing something in 300, or if it was 72, it's even less.
Yeah,
so it might not work.
And in my defense, that artwork didn't convert to vector very well because I didn't draw it very well. If you can see, it's a little bit, it's a little bit all over the place. But hey, we're on a timeline here.
And tight timeline.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, nice.
Nothing like a good
thanks
deadline.
for sharing that. I love that.
That's cool. I've lost my. I can't see anything that's happening on our screen, so I'm just looking at mine. Next. All right. So what I was gonna do, I just gotta try to remember, was halftones. Going back. My halftone layer. I'm gonna turn my lighting layer back on because you can see there's some parts of the skull that were going to be lit. Shadow, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to select my purple from there. Again, you can just click on these thumbnails and pick that color by just clicking. And then I'm going to go into halftone, just make it a bit smaller. Make sure that this is under.
There was a question I think I could probably answer most of in chat. Quick question: why didn't you start this piece directly in Illustrator? Well, there wasn't really an intention to take this into Illustrator. That wasn't part of the kind of plan for today.
Yeah.
Everything was going to be Photoshop. But Dale just wanted to kind of demonstrate that if you need to bring it across, you can, and there's a couple of techniques for that. So he showed us one of those techniques.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I like to plan all my pieces. So if I know it would work better in Illustrator, of course. But there's also some things in Photoshop. I just like how quick it works in here. So
Yeah.
I'm just adding like little bits of this to extend the shadow without extending it, if you know what I mean. If it makes sense.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then I can add these like extra folds. And you can see that I'm still only using that purple, and I'm still getting a little bit of that like shadow feel still without it being real heavy. Let's draw in. That's the number one question I reckon of my lifetime.
What's that?
Just why don't I do things in Illustrator, or why don't I do it in Photoshop? It's really hard because sometimes it just at at one point you might go, you know what, I'm just going to do this in Illustrator, and you need to have that luxury of being able to switch it up.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that you're not restricted, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a good question, like for people that might not be, as familiar with both, because
Yeah,
some people I think will be Team Photoshop, Team Illustrator, and I know that's what it was like when I was kind of graduating. Like that was with designers, it was kind of one or the other. Whereas I think these
yeah,
days it's like it's become easier and easier to kind of switch from one to the other, as long as you understand like just those kind of basic fundamentals of the power of
yeah.
each. But there's a lot of blurring of the lines now. Like a lot of what you can do in Photoshop, you can do in Illustrator, and vice versa.
Yeah, I agree. And it is about trying to be versatile as a designer. Like, you might do a whole project and then at the very last minute they say, oh, we actually need that file as a vector. You need to know that it's
Yeah.
not going to kill you to go in and make a few of those changes, like,
Mm,
so I just always allow for that sort of thing to happen. You just expect the unexpected in this world.
totally. Yeah. Um,
Uh,
a comment from chat. Dale seems to have many followers. Any tips on how to get visibility with your work? Chances to keep doing it because besides improving the work, of course, struggling to get curated or highlighted. I think I'm going to assume that you're talking about Instagram there.
oh, sorry, I missed the first part, but
Any tips on how
say
to
it again.
get
Sorry.
and any tips on how to get visibility with your work?
Oh, um, look, at the moment I can't tell you that Instagram is the greatest platform to get visibility anymore. For the simple fact that those algorithms are there and they're there to stay, and it is really hard to get traction. And I can speak from a personal level that the amount of exposure or like hits that one post might get has varied dramatically from 2018 to now. Like it's crazy. But I think some people, and I've been lucky because I've already been doing this a long time. I'm not trying to get my foot in the door. I've got a good reputation, so it helps. But I think the only way to get traction and to get any sort of coverage or like get your art out there is going to be put it on as many channels instead of focusing on, because Instagram was great for so long, and I'm sure that's how a lot of people got their start. But now there's got to be more options for people to see your stuff. So I would recommend maybe doing some live streams to YouTube or something, or I don't know, to work out something, a place where people can see you and relate to you as a person and connect with you on a personal level. It's easier to book an artist when you know they're a good person. You don't want to book someone who's rude or an obnoxious person to begin with. So yeah, I think be for the people on as many channels as you can, because unfortunately I think the Instagram boat has sailed, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're still saying there's like other ways to get like your personality is really important. Is that something else that?
I
Yeah.
definitely think personality will win, 9 times out of 10. People like to work with good people, and it's, if you're a nice person, if you're a giving person, a friendly person, I think you've got a better chance of getting anywhere in the world, period. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely think just put yourself out there. Yeah, I don't really like being having cameras and all that stuff, but I do like to give back and prove to people that what I do isn't for me. It's just, it's for everybody, and I create to give back as much as I can also. So
Mm.
yeah, I definitely think be a nice person, be a good person, and be a person that doesn't mind getting in front of the camera and talking to your fans or your supporters.
Yeah, I like that. It's good advice. But yeah, it does seem like the Instagram kind of algorithm is a bit of a
It's a
beast these
beast. Yeah,
days. A
it's
lot of
so
people I talk
crazy.
to, and people, like Dale has a lot of followers, and some other people that have like a lot of followers as well. I think they're often constantly need to look at other platforms, not just the one, because if something does change, and that's a primary part of your income or a primary part of how you interact with people and what you've built, then it could be little bit scary about what world would that look like if it disappeared tomorrow. And I
Uh,
think that's what we always need to think about.
yeah, and I think you need to be prepared for exactly that. I think those algorithms change like overnight. You might not even know, and keeping up with that is a full time job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't want that kind of burden. So I think just create and put it out there as much as you can, and you'll be in a good spot.
Yeah. I like it.
I'm just gonna put one more color in here because we're not printing this, and you know,
That halftone has just added so much to it. I absolutely love the halftone effect.
oh, just in general, right? They're just
Yeah.
it's a really nice like touch. Sorry, that wasn't me like shooting my own horn. I just think it's a nice way to add a little bit more dimension without going crazy with all the blacks.
Yeah. Alex Mills in the house. Hello,
Oh,
Alex.
Alex.
Saying IG stories is a particularly helpful way to get organic traction. Still a bit of a victim to the algorithm, but it helps.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard your story and your Instagram TV is way better for traction. But like I said, I'm not one to get on there and just film myself, and it's hard. But if you can be that person, then I think that definitely helps. All right, so now I've got. Let's just have a look at him in full screen. It looks pretty good, and
Mm.
you know, I, like I said, you can add as much detail or as as little as you want. But I think the main part to this is we've created this from like a model who had no clothes on, who wasn't a skull. He was only the bare bones of this artwork. But I mean,
Bare
I've played
bones.
with it, and I've done a lot to it to make it my own. But I feel like you can have faith in creating your art and be confident if you use drawing aids like this, or just buy some drawing books and reference like I don't know what style you want to create, but if you buy like a how to draw comics and just keep drawing that same thing over and over again, it's the same sort of principle. The more your mind sees it, the more it remembers. So it's a good way to build your confidence up as an artist, and you can create something that's similar. This is just one style that I like doing with it, but
Mm.
most of the times it is in Illustrator and it is a lot more detail. But this is a cool style that I like doing, and it just it's a fun way to create when you kind of don't have to create from scratch. Like
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to say because it feels like I'm being a cop out and I'm not creating, but you can see how much this differs from where I was originally. And let me go back so we can have a refresh on what we referenced for those if they haven't seen. Just going to put all these guys in a layer. So we started with just this little. That was our starting point, and oops, and you can see that it's evolved so much from there that if I wasn't to show you this, you'd have no idea. And I think that's the beauty of art. It's not about
Mm.
how you draw it. It's what can you do to that illustration to make it a art by Dale piece. And this is it. Like I might go in and I can add as much as I want to this now, and I feel like I can take full ownership of this. But the beauty of 2020 is that there's so many places where you can get assets and things like that. So don't be scared to have a hunt around and load up on your supplies to get your confidence up, because I think confidence is definitely key.
Yeah, true.
I'll just drop a little. There are a couple of you can. I like to add these little textures. It's nothing new, but it just this is why I wasn't too concerned about my level of coloring skill, because I can go in and put this on the right layer. I just add some of this little,
Oh, right. Yeah. Cool.
just to break up that like really bold purple.
Yeah.
And I just like, I think styles like this are cool because it allows, especially myself, to experiment with things that I've seen other artists do for so long. And I'm like, you know, I feel like I could have a go.
Mm.
I can have a try at some of those styles and techniques, and I end up finding that like I actually quite enjoy doing it because it is something different for me, and it's a challenge to make it look aesthetically pleasing, and
Mm.
the more you try, the more you learn, the more you realize what works and what doesn't. So
Are you rotating the brush to make them a little bit different or something? Or are you flipping it?
nah, so this brush, it's basically, so it's the pressure. I can't read the rest. Pressure con- pressure control. All right, so this brush basically, if I do it lightly,
Mm.
it will do tight texture. If I press harder, it does those textures that are open. So I'm kind
Right.
of varying in between the pressure only, but the brush itself is just like it's moving naturally, and it just does that scattered
Oh, cool.
pattern. So it's kind of, it's yeah, it's really cool, and it's, again, it's cool that these brushes exist, and they, again, they just make your workflow so much easier, and like you can add things that, like, you used to have to go
Mm.
and spray paint a bit of paper and scan it in, and who's got time for that? Trying to I gotta make dinner at 5 o'clock.
That's true.
But yeah, and you can see it's given, again, a little bit more to the piece. It's just another method. So you can use
Mm.
halftones. You can use this splatter shading if you want. It's up to you. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you would just add, like, during the process. You just keep adding stuff and working out what works for you.
Mm.
You could reverse that brush and extend these shading lines and shade like that, if that's what you wanted. You can use those as shading instead.
Mm.
There's really no rules to how this artwork needs to look or anything, but you can see like all those different effects, the halftone, the splatter, they all play pretty key roles in like what it does for the piece. So yeah, it's about, I think, really experimenting and having fun with it, and making sure that, like, you just remember that it doesn't matter if it was a reference skull off the internet or it was one that you shot. As long as you make it your own, then you should definitely practice, and this is a good way to, yeah, definitely get you in the mood to want to try new things and try,
Mm.
new styles, and just grow as an artist. Like, it'll teach you things that you never knew that you were really confident in doing. But yeah, so I think that's the kind of angle I want. And now I've got these layers built. I probably It's a bit messy, but I can just go in and change that if I think the red works better. I can just go change that. But I've drawn a
Yeah. So it's
few
super
different
quick.
tones. Yeah, it's really quick, and that's the beauty of using. Again, these are not my colors. I've downloaded them from Adobe. And does that mean I'm lazy? Does that mean I'm cheating? No, it means I'm being smart. Someone's already gone through the trouble of creating something that looks good. I've
Mm.
applied those colors to my artwork, and it's assisting my work, I guess. So yeah, I definitely have fun with resources. Resources are up there for a reason. It doesn't. definitely doesn't lessen you as an artist. So
Mm.
I think have fun with it. But yeah, I can just change this.
We were
I
talking
guess
about platforms before while we're here, and someone was saying that it's hard to show your personality on platforms. On some platforms, I'm mentioning Behance. I'm trying like 7 platforms, and crazy enough, only successful in LinkedIn. The LinkedIn phenomenon is real. I don't know what's going on over there, but yeah, I've had quite a few people, artists and designers, mention that they're getting a lot of traction on LinkedIn at the moment. So if you're out there and you're wondering something to try, that does seem to be something that people are having some success.
I was going to say that's really funny that they say that because I never really took LinkedIn very serious. But to tell you the truth, if all you put down is that you're interested in work, I get emails daily about, oh, we can see you're looking for work. Would you like to apply for this job? It's like,
Hmm.
well, am I looking for work? Because I can't remember if I ever put that in my profile. But it's so active, and I think as as far as employers go, that's where they're looking.
Mm.
I mean, big business might not want to go on Instagram and check out your cool photos of your food, or what your dog's doing on the weekend. It's a bit like you need to go wherever it works. So if it's LinkedIn, go for it, I reckon.
Mm.
But yeah, so now so I've got all these layers that I've created. Oh, this one's just empty, so I'll just get rid of that. But I would just go through at this point and make sure that all of these are editable colors because I forgot to set it up before, to be honest.
Steve's letting me know that LinkedIn is even doing Adobe Live now. Really?
Is that right?
Really? Are they streaming it
Hmm.
there, Steve? I'm super super curious.
Where's Steve from?
Steve's from Wellington, I think. Definitely New
Oh,
Zealand.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right, and
Oh, Terry White. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Terry White, and Jason stream to like 4 or 5 different platforms at once, or something crazy.
oh, really? Like so it's a thing. They're actually on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, I know you can
That's
do it, but I haven't. You are Wellington. Cool. That's good. I'm glad I remember. Um, yeah, that's a lot.
yeah. I don't. I think I guess you don't have to. I mean, I know I said it. Put yourself out there as much as you can. If it doesn't work for you, you don't feel comfortable. I don't think you should have to do it. Like
Yeah.
it's definitely entirely up to you. But yeah, if it's LinkedIn that works, then I say go for it.
Yeah, there is something interesting about, you know, our feeds, because we're all following like other creatives, other designers. So our Instagram feed is obviously curated for us, right?
Yeah,
And someone mentioned a while ago to me that often when you're working with corporates and stuff, you might think, oh, they're not really interested in what we do. They're more interested in their corporate stuff. But they sort of made the point that actually it's often really exciting because they really enjoy working with creatives because everyone's creative.
yeah,
And they
absolutely.
get this opportunity, and there could be something like that with something like LinkedIn, where it's a lot of long form articles. It's a lot of people, hey, I got a promotion, a lot of kind of fairly dry, fairly corporate stuff, and you come in there with your like really colorful like artwork, and you're like, hey, I just worked on this like cool
Blows.
job. It could probably cut through quite well there in comparison to maybe something like
Yeah, I
Insta.
agree. And I think that's the way to do it, right? Like, is to really make some noise
Mm.
and just really put yourself out there to a point where it's almost like awkwardly uncomfortable that you just did that in I don't know, just thinking of like a law firm seeing one of these artworks come up, but it wouldn't. I don't think it would put people off. It would sell yourself as a really confident person. So that
Mm.
wouldn't be a bad option, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the piece. This is basically where I'd leave it. I'd have some. I guess I've got all my layers set up so that you can go through, change colors like as much as you want. In terms of the file setup, again, it's a 600 DPI. Actually, I think this one might be only 300, but usually 600 DPI good for Photoshop, good to take over as a Illustrator file, but I would keep in mind trying to take this. If I was to take this image with all the grade, the texture and stuff,
Mm.
and the halftones, there's a high chance that it would blow out. You wouldn't see half those halftones, but you can apply them in Illustrator. Won't go into that today, but there's ways and brushes and stuff in Illustrator that you can use. But I think this is again a really effective way. Like you can really have fun with it, and this obviously this artwork might not be for everybody, and not everyone might be interested. But I like the way it's got depth, it's got texture, it's got it's got light, and it's really only two colors, three colors. So
Mm.
good for screen printing and all that. And yeah, so that's the basis of what I'd be doing really. But I might just go in and add some of this little texture on the outside of the piece.
Cool. We got about 9 to 10 minutes left, so we might yeah, throw it out to questions as well, everyone.
Yeah, please.
As we wind down, Ryan was asking, where can I find a model like yours? So that model at the beginning, maybe you could show.
Oh, here. Do you want me to
show that again for anyone that missed that? Oops. Froze.
He's really cool.
Yeah,
he's
cool.
got and are you good? Yeah.
All good.
So he's fully posable. I won't take him out, but he also comes with like a heap of like you can have him holding a mobile phone, a sword, a gun, you name it. He's got it. He's but I found him on eBay. I know there's expensive ones, but if you want to drop me an email or a DM, I can definitely get you a link, but I definitely can't tell you off the top of my head. It was just an eBay purchase, and I know it's probably a copy, but he's holding in strong. I definitely don't think that you need to spend a lot of money. You can just like this. The skull as well is so my reference skull was 3D printed, and it's great. It does the job. It reflects good light as well because it's the actual filament that made it is quite reflective. So it's yeah, a good little handful of resources are definitely handy. But like I said, if you don't have the resources, there's plenty of stuff on online that you can go and access to kind of let's just assist with the drawing process, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
But yeah. So I'm just going to put some little... just to eliminate that hard edge. Cool. Make it feel like a little bit natural, sprayed inks.
Super cool. Yeah, we were chatting about networking before, and I think it was Festus, Steve, in there. Networking seems to be my best method for finding work. Old school stuff like mentioning to friends and acquaintances that you're up for gigs. And that's very true. Like, the word of mouth, using air quotes. Oh, I can use air quotes because we're video.
Yeah.
I'm used to doing podcasts and I'm like, air quotes. Definitely, like as Dale was sort of saying, being friendly, being nice to work with, fun to work with, goes a really, really long way. I'm sure it's like this in other regions, but certainly in our region, it's only 1 degree of separation, really. Everybody knows someone.
Yeah.
And you got to be good to work with. Would you agree with that, Dale?
I definitely agree. I think Festus, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit the nail on the head. Back in the day, it was all... the only way you could get a job was prove that you exist, and it was about going to shows, art shows and things like that, and making these friendships. And I might make a friend with a guy who cuts up cardboard boxes for a living, but his best mate is the CEO of Harley Davidson. You know what I mean? It's you just don't know who you're talking to, so treat every person like it's a potential client. I think if you treat someone like, oh, who are you, mate? Like, I don't have time for you. Like, I'm trying to live my life and drink this beer. Like, it's not cool. Like, you should just offer that guy a beer because you don't know where he's going to be in the next year. He might go, I remember Dale was a really cool guy. I'll just hire him because he knows how to draw. He doesn't know what I can do. Yeah. It's based on, he was a cool guy. So I'm not saying I'm cool. I'm far from it, but I definitely think being a genuine character definitely helps. Yeah, for sure.
Mm. Yep. It doesn't take long as well. If you're not nice and you're not easy to work with and you're not nice to work with and all that sort of stuff,
Word gets around.
word gets out pretty quick. Yeah, I'm sure it's like that all over. I know some of
It,
my UK friends and people in America say the same sort of thing. So can only speak from experience here, but yeah, definitely hear some echoes of that around. That
no, I agree. I think word travels too fast. The world's really small. It's
mm,
word has long time before coronavirus been a deadly deadly virus, and I think people can ruin your business if you say the wrong thing, it'll get to the right people, and yeah, you might be out of a job or at least not getting much work.
yeah.
I'm just putting some deterioration of his red, which was purple. Just want it to look like it's all flying off.
So it's kind of like a bit of like debris,
And
like really light.
yeah,
Is like
really,
ashy.
yeah. Really, can you see it on your screen? Is that coming through?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit too small, but yeah, just kind of like going in that same direction as the wind. Just,
Yeah.
oops. It's cool, and really the process I have. There's no real like I didn't draw this at the start. I didn't draw these entrails or whatever you want to call them, but I think it's like it can work in this piece. So it's again developing like styles and developing things on the fly. It should be like something that you take very serious. Like
Mm.
I could have left it, packed it up, went inside, played Xbox, whatever it is, but I feel like I'd stay on a piece and then if I posted this tomorrow, it'll be in different colors. There'll be a moon behind him instead of up there. So you're always developing something on a
Mm.
piece. So yeah, but I kind of like to just add those little details just for a little bit of added impact.
Yeah, it adds a lot to it. Like as before you were saying, like, can you see that? Like, or is it too subtle? But like, even if you don't kind of register it straight away, like that subconscious of, that it shows that motion, like a bit
Yeah,
more. Like it adds to the illusion
just
that our Ghost Rider is moving along.
I love it. The Ghost Rider, definitely.
See how I like humble brag, throw it in there again, just because, yeah. I'm gonna go tell my
How
wife, and she's gonna roll her eyes immediately after the stream
uh,
and be like,
she'll be like you didn't actually say that live, did you,
yeah.
Flynn?
And then I'm gonna tell her that I brought it up again. You got to entertain yourself. It's important.
Yeah, it's tough times at the moment. Do what it takes.
That's right. Huxel was asking, what would your advice be on how to grow an Instagram account? We did talk a little bit about that. I think a bit of a slave to the algorithm at the moment. It's quite difficult. It's changed quite a lot. Is the heading? I don't know if you have any more to add
Definitely.
to that, Dale, but
I think going back into it, I think the only key or the only factor that I think is important nowadays is to be consistently posting. So don't just think one artwork's going to be the hit and that's it. You're big time, because it's not the case. Your I was about to swear, but your worst artwork is more likely to be the one that gets seen by everybody and get more hits. So just treat every artwork like it's your best. And I guess if you put all your work consistently online, then I think eventually, like I said, the right person will see it, and it only takes that one person to give you your break. And
yeah,
yeah, going back to the word of mouth, then it's just about being consistently posting, but people consistently talking about you. So give them content that makes them talk. I think I probably am not the greatest person to live by that, but I think I definitely started out by making sure that I was posting a lot of content, but making sure it was all relevant and pretty consistent for as long as I could, and it worked. But now, yeah, like time, current climate of the world, algorithms, I think there's just a lot more factors to consider, and it doesn't make life easier. But it's not to say you can't do it. I definitely am not disregarding it. I just think it's a bit more. It's a lot harder.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Probably one more question, and then we'll say our goodbyes. But do you feel there's a big difference when working on a tablet with a screen than to one without a screen?
I started on it was a graphite back in the day, and I feel like if you can master the tablet, so drawing on the tablet and looking at the screen, so that coordination, I think it excels your skills into a better place, because it's a lot harder to be that hand-eye coordination. But if you can nail that, I think you can do anything. Um, well, I mean, art wise, don't go. I don't know, but I think with the Cintiq, especially now, it's so natural to, I guess, draw on these and feel like you're in complete control of that. Of course, I feel a difference, but I have a real high appreciation for the people that are still doing it with a mouse, or um, using the older tablets or the Intuos and things like that. So it's cool, and it's great that we live in an era where we do have these tools available to us, and they're cheaper than ever. I mean, I used to tell people it's an expensive buy-in, but it pays for itself. But there's options out there now that are quite affordable. But I won't quote numbers because I'm not good at it. But there's where you can get a Cintiq and have to pay $4,000. Definitely a benefit to it, but I definitely don't think it's the key to being a good artist. I think that comes from the inside.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Let's have a look at the final artwork. So I've just got the artwork up there now. Awesome job, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, very cool. And showed a couple of different effects and everything. I like the quick little detour over to Illustrator to show off some of that stuff. If you do want to see Dale doing some of his work in Illustrator, we've actually did a video 2 weeks ago, I think, that's on Adobe Live. Just go to the illustration section, check that out. Otherwise, you can go over to YouTube, the Asia Pacific channel, which is different to the Global Creative Cloud channel, just to be confusing. But yeah, you can check it out over there. And there's actually a lot of videos of you and I having a chat IRL, doing some artwork back in the day.
The good old days.
They're all still up there. But yeah,
and
just jump in. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And there's also, can I just bring up this screen just to...
Yep.
So this is the free skulls I was talking about. You can grab them on Behance. There's a download link in there, and they're fully editable. And there's even a little video of how to change colors and whatnot. So
awesome.
If you feel like it, you can go in there and use them for whatever you want. I really am honest about it. I don't care if it ends up on a t-shirt. I'm not looking for money here. It's just like, I know resources are important, and this is just a little bit to give back. So enjoy.
Awesome. That's really, really kind of you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll throw a direct link down in the YouTube description as well, so you can check that out after the stream. We're gonna leave you with the lineup for the rest of this week, because I've got it all sorted in advance, and I'm very proud of that. But Dale, thank you so much, and thank you so much, chat. It's been wonderful. I've had a great day today.
Thank you, Flynn. It's been awesome as always. So have a good day, and I'll see you soon around the traps.
See you, mate. Bye, Ron.
See ya.